dance for joy or lust or anger, and every time you haven't got it right, you'll want to run.
Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Reviews, the series where we look at cars that you can buy for between £1,000 and £5,000 that are sensible and practical everyday machinery. This is a 2015 Citroen C3 Picasso 1.2 Pure Tech exclusive. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the C3 Picasso was launched all the way back in 2009, and it was essentially a very similar car to the second generation Citroen C3. Initially it launched with engines that we are, well, not really able to discuss on this channel. There were some ones that are fueled by heavy oil, which I don't tend to talk about at all, and then the infamous Prince engines. Prince engines were also used by BMW at the same time as Peugeot Citroën, and they are not good. They're not good at all. They are infamous for reliability issues. I mean, you can look at loads of different channels on YouTube to look at more detail about this. I know Chop's Garage will go into that, Salvage Rebuilds UK. I would just avoid those altogether. The rare petrol variant of the C3 Picasso was only sold from 2015 to 2017, and it's this 1.2 Pure Tech engine, a 3-cylinder unit, in this case generating about 110 horsepower. Now this engine is nothing to do with the old Prince engines that were available in 1.6 guys, or for that matter the heavy oil ones we don't talk about. In this car it's actually made it to a 5-speed manual, although in a lot of other cars which shared the same underpinnings as this, such as the first generation Peugeot 208, it did have a 6-speed manual option and also a 6-speed automatic. The driving position of this is very comfortable. It feels for some reason a lot more underpowered than other cars I've driven with this 1.2 turbo engine. I don't know why that is. It is strange. Maybe it is a bit heavier. The glass area of this is massive, and the driving position is very, very, very relaxed. It's very relaxed. The steering wheel's in a slightly odd position actually in this car, and the instruments are right in front of me on the sort of left hand side of this big pod, which actually takes up the entire centre of the dash. There's no analog instruments in here at all, and you know, if you know Citroens of this area, you'll know that that's what they sort of were going for back then. It depends if you're used to it. I mean, some of you might like it, some of you might not. Because they've moved this pod over to the right hand side of the central display rather than being on the left for a left hand drive car, it is actually quite well positioned to be able to see all you need to see. One thing we don't have, I think, is an engine temperature gauge. We've got a speedometer and a rev counter and a fuel gauge, and the manometer, everything is here, but we don't have an engine temperature gauge, which is a bit alarming from what I know about the Prince engines that were fitted to lots of these cars. I think this later C3 Picasso does look quite smart. I think the design is sensitively done to make it look reasonably stylish but still preserve the practicality. I mean, there's loads of headroom in one of these. Because this is an exclusive model, we've got things like chromed door handles and a little chrome strip down there, these alloy wheels, and also got chrome surrounds for the fog lamps, and I think because this is a later one, we've got LED daytime running lights as well. It doesn't look bad actually at all. C3 Picassos were replaced in 2017 by the C3 Aircross, which I can never tell apart from the standard C3, but the C3 Picasso does look actually quite different from the standard Mark II C3. I think the first thing to do is actually take a look in the back. If you're buying one of these cars, then you really are centered around practicality more than anything else. The parking sensors are quite useful actually in this. I don't think a reversing camera was available. Could be wrong though. So we've got 385 litres of space in here, and actually quite a flat floor for loading things in. See there, we've got a multiple position boot floor, which is good for sliding things in. Even more space under there. And we've got a tyre inflation kit. I would hope that any car I would buy would have a spare wheel in it, but maybe these don't come with one. Just put the boot floor back in the correct position. It's hard to do with one hand, but I managed it. Boot light is there. It's actually got a hinged parcel shelf in the middle, which seems to work quite well. But yeah, that's a very practical thing for loading in, particularly if you needed to keep things flat and go all the way through. That's not a problem. The tailgate lifts nice and high. There's also handles in here for helping you to pull it down. It's almost like sort of the same kind of tailgate feeling as you get on a big Ford Tourneo or something like that. So the exclusive trim here. This car's done less than 50,000 miles and it's actually in really nice condition. I think that pigeon feather's going to have to come out though, isn't it? One of the things the old Zara Picasso used to do well was underfloor storage. We've actually got a cubby either side in the back, and these seats actually do slide forward to give you more boot space. If 385 litres isn't enough, you can get up to 500 by sliding the seats forward. I'm going to first, however, look at these tables in front of me, little tray table things. And there we go. Even got a tiny reading light, which probably isn't on because the key is here. That's a very good design actually. 12-volt sockets down there, armrest. I tend to move those out of the way because they tend to annoy me. And big door pocket, some fabric on the door card. Masses of headroom. I could wear a top hat in here, it'll be fine. Let's see if I can get the seat to slide. Oh, there we go, look at that. You can slide that forward and you can slide each side individually, which is great. Can we recline this backrest? No, I don't think we can. I think it's fixed, but that's all right. That's not a problem. Yeah, it feels okay in here actually. You sit really quite high up as well, which if you're someone who's got children would be absolutely brilliant for you. Give them a nice view out. Adjustable height seat belts, which is excellent, and side airbags. Right, let's get to the front, shall we? So just a normal key, normal locking. One thing I've noticed is you get power folding mirrors in here, and you get automatic front electric windows, left and right, which is brilliant. I had to spend some time adjusting the seat, but I managed to get it in my position eventually, which is fine. As you can see, the dash would be different if this was a left-hand drive car. You'd have that binnacle on the right, actually on the left, which would should be fine. It looks a bit silly though, with just sort of blanking bit there. Something will appear in the middle in a second. I'll have to turn the car on for that though. Standard of the period looking radio from lots of Peugeot and Citroen models. One thing I would like is a sunglasses holder, but we've actually got the optional little mirror for seeing what the children are up to. Hello. There we go. That's really useful for a family car. And electrochromatic rear view mirror as well. So you can see the drive position, it does remind me a bit of an AEC Routemaster. It is a bit bus-like, but that's fine, a lot of these cars are, and the dash is enormous. It just as well, in this particular car, there's dual zone climate control, and actually, unlike some of the later Peugeot and Citroen models, it's all down here in a very sort of self-explanatory format indeed. You've got a little cubby hole there. You could put your sunglasses in there instead of up here, I suppose. Big door bins. One thing I noticed on lots of French cars, particularly from the last 15 years, is that they don't move the fuse box. So there's no way my secret mission documents are going in, and that's why the book pack for the car is in the door, because there's no way my secret mission documents are going in, and the front release is on the left as well. Cup holders here, 12-volt socket there, another 12-volt socket just there, normal handbrake, thank goodness, and an aux in on the right. So no USB, unfortunately. It's a bit of a shame for a car from 2015 to not have any USB at all, but it wouldn't have been unique in that, actually. Got automatic lights here. I think we've probably got auto wipers. Yes, we have. And I like this leather-covered steering wheel with a little bit of chrome there as well. Just a 5-speed manual gearbox. You could get an automatic with some of the C3 Picassos as well. I probably wouldn't recommend the sort of the ETG, which is a robotised manual, because they are terrible. But yes, it's not bad really. That's even soft touch on the dash actually. That's better quality than I thought it was going to be. Let's actually turn the car on and see what the screen looks like though, shall we? Okay, we've got quite a light coming in the car. It's sort of reflecting off the dash, which is why the dash looks sort of almost white. But there you are, there's the instrument. On the right hand side, the speedometer and the fuel gauge. For some reason you can't really see the mileometer at the moment, but you can see the central display, and that has some warning lights in it. It looks a bit sparse there, but that's okay. Yeah, it's actually quite easy to get used to. You think, you know, your dial should be about there, but actually being there is absolutely fine. It's not really a problem. No kind of colour display in the middle or anything like that, but do you really need that? Probably if you're looking at a car like this, you probably don't. Right viewers, for some reason my phone went on a really strange mode where it made everything look really white. I've now turned that off, which is why everything looks normal again. Sorry about that. Anyway, you can see this is supposedly one of Pablo Picasso's designs, but of course he died in the 1970s, so it's not. Whether you think this is from his Cubist period or one of the other things, I leave it up to you. So we've got the 1.2 Pure Tech in here with just 3 cylinders, generating 110 horsepower. This engine is a wet belt engine, meaning the timing belt is actually internal to the engine and is covered in oil. Do not skip servicing on this engine. Make sure that you follow the specified cam belt interval on this. It's even more important to do this than it is on just a standard cam belt engine. The other engines, of course, the Prince engines and the ones that use heavy oil, we can't discuss on this channel. I'm afraid, thanks to the Mayor of London and his friends around the country, for the case of forbidden fuel ones, and the Prince engine, because it's a Prince engine and it shall not be discussed. Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. As long as trim levels go, the 3 most popular ones for the majority of the life of the C3 Picasso were VT, VTR Plus, no, not just VTR like the old Saxo, VTR Plus, and then this exclusive model. There were an awful lot of other special editions though, a lot of them with engines that we can't discuss on this channel. But we will have a look at the other 2 models that were available actually after this one was first sold, it was really weird. They launched the 1.2 210 horsepower engine, and then they only kept the standard designations for trims, like the VTR Plus exclusive, on sale for another sort of 6 months or something, I think, and then we changed them. We'll have a look at that in some of the special editions in a little while. In terms of driving, I mean, it's clearly a 3-cylinder engine, you can hear it, and that's absolutely fine. It's not a problem. Gearbox is quite a long throw, it's not the nicest, it's probably similar to the old Peugeot 207, which I drove on the channel in about 2019, and that was honestly one of the very worst cars I've ever driven in my life. It was really terrible. Like this annoying air freshener thing, which... get up there. Hopefully that'll stay now. This feels okay. I don't know if this is an electronic or hydraulic power steering system, but it's fine. You know, the sort of person who drives a C3 Picasso would be in the market for things like a Nissan Note and a Renault Modus, and they're not really going to care that this car isn't the last one in dynamism, because it's not. But does it feel very comfortable? Is it easy to drive? Yes. I don't like the clutch in this. It's quite heavy, and you know, the steering is not particularly good on the old feel really at all. But I suspect most of the people who'd be looking at a car like this wouldn't really mind. One thing I would say is that I source a lot of things like Kia Vengas and Hyundai iX20s for clients. In fact, I've got an iX20 that I've sourced coming up on the channel soon. But you know, the kind of person who drives one of those isn't going to be too fussed about, you know, the last one in dynamism. But this doesn't feel anywhere near as good as that at all. It's very spacious. It's really easy to see where you're going if this annoying air freshener doesn't keep falling off the mirror. Let's try one more time to get rid of this thing. That's better. And having a normal handbrake in it is good. I like that. But it feels far more than I expected like an old Zara Picasso, which, when this car was launched in 2009, was still on sale. And although that's a much bigger car, I imagine some people might have changed from one of those to one of these if they wanted something a bit more compact. Certainly with all this visibility and all this glass, I'd also maybe want one of those sunroofs, maybe a panoramic one, which I think was available in some of the trims. This one doesn't have it. But it's okay, it's comfortable enough. It just feels like I'm going on the school run, driving around something like this. Let's have a look at some other Citroen C3 Picasso trim levels. The Air Dream, the Black Cherry, the Code, the Connection, the Edition, the Exclusive, the Platinum, the Selection, the VT and the VTR Plus. When the trim structure was changed in mid-2015, the Exclusive, VT and VTR were removed and replaced with the Edition and Selection. We've been over all these other special editions as well. So, viewers, the Citroen C3 Picasso, is this something that you should consider with your hard-earned budget between £1,000 and £5,000 as a sensible second-hand car? Well, you've got to make sure that you avoid those Prince engines, avoid those forbidden fuel engines, particularly in areas where there's ultra-low emission and clean air zones. And so you're left with this 110 brake horsepower 1.2 PureTech, which is okay as long as you look after it. And actually it feels quite punchy. I prefer a 6-speed gearbox, but this 5-speed manual's alright, I suppose. I do prefer the Hyundai iX20 and the Kia Venga, really, to one of these. But I can see why somebody might want this. This is this sort of ultimate in sort of, I don't know, kind of relaxed sort of living. You could almost imagine somebody might want a couple of surfboards on top of this just because of the way that it looks and the vibe it gives off. And you can even get a fold flat front passenger seat if you do want to carry surfboards in one of these. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Thank you again to Simon at Lanley Prestige in Chelmsford for letting me have a go in this today. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Like this video in the comment below. And we will see you again soon for more reasonably priced motoring.